Hey, Geekscapists, welcome to a brand new Geekscape podcast. I'm Jonathan London, your host. And if this is your first Geekscape, strap yourselves in for some pop culture talk, movies, video games, comic books, TV, all of the pop culture goodness. You guys, Ophelia's in the background if you can hear her. She's not a fan of Daddy just feeding her dinner and then dipping out, not doing bath time tonight because he's got a Geekscape to do. I hope you're happy, Geekscapists. I hope you're happy. Bath time it's a really important ritual in our family to basically splash water all over Daddy, sometimes get peed on. That stuff happens, but you know what, she's 15 months old, she's the greatest thing in my world, and I love bath time. Why am I talking about this? We got a show to do. Geekscapists. My good buddy Tom Hoskisson is on the show. He is the artist for Hero of the Prophecy issue 2, and if I have not annoyed him enough, hopefully he is the artist for 3, 4, 5, 6, because I've written that far as the story goes. This is our fantasy story that is up for Kickstarter right now. You guys can go to herooftheprophecy.com and find the Kickstarter and order yourselves issue 2, which is the new one, but you can also add on issue 1. So Tom is in Perth, Australia. He's in the future. I'm in Los Angeles. He's way ahead of the time zones. And we're going to be talking about his art. I found him online and I was like, this is the dude that's going to do issue 2 and on. Talk about how he got along and everything. We talk a little bit about the comic, talk about his art, talk about his influences, talk about what he loves, and just basically get to know him because basically we hired him and then it was like off to the races to make a brand new comic. So that's what we're doing. And that's that. So let's start an episode. Let's get to know Tom. Let's come back and enjoy the credits. We'll be all right, Geekscapists. I was a bit mentally derailed there. It's almost like I haven't been podcasting for 20 years. I haven't been podcasting in 2 weeks. So please give me a little bit of grace. I've also been starting this brand new Kickstarter for Hero of the Prophecy issue 2. We are well past halfway towards our $5,000 goal. We have lots of cool stuff. So I implore you, especially if you enjoyed the first issue, to go to herooftheprophecy.com and check those things out. I'm here with the artist, Tom Hoskisson. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right because we don't really talk about those things, but Tom's here from Perth, Australia. We talk every day, but we text. It's the WhatsApp. It's not the same. But Tom's here. Tom, where the hell did my background go? Where's my background? What happened to my background? I was just telling you how like StreamYard changes the background like every 2 seconds. They're like, you're gonna love our brand new backgrounds, and then when we add them, it's gonna move all of your new assets, all the assets you've laid out. It's gonna move them to where the 4 wins because you just have to have the cute, spooky background. I'm like, what? Where's my background? And they're like, no, just in time for a Halloween, which was 2 weeks ago. Here's a Halloween background, or you want Graveyard Moon, Upside Down World. Here's De los Muertos. I guess that's nice. I like that. But no, here's what I want: the Geekscape background. So thank you, StreamYard. We love using StreamYard. In addition, StreamYard's about to like add a vertical version. So as I record the show and for like Spotify video in this nice landscape version, people are going to be able to watch it in a vertical version on YouTube and on Instagram. Ophelia thinks that's hilarious. Tom, thanks for joining me, dude. It's 10 a.m. there at 6 p.m. here. You've never been on a podcast before. There's Heidi. taking affiliated bath time.
No.
You know, how come you've never been on a podcast before, dude?
I don't know. Hey, unless there's one that I'm forgetting. Oh, by the way, you are saying my last name right, Hoskisson. Yeah, that's you correct. It sounds like a sneeze, and I don't mind if people get it wrong.
What's the worst somebody's ever? What's the worst? Yeah, go for
it. So when I wanted to do music, right? And so when I was doing my music stuff, I was like, I have to change my last name because nobody in my life has ever gotten it right? Like it's always Hoskinson, or there's like not enough S's or too many S's, right? So I was like, I'll take my mum's maiden name, which is King, like Tom King. I was like, that's got a great ring to it. I'll use that for music, right? Years later, I'm like, I'm going to try and get into comic books. Got into comic books and stuff on my Reddit profile, Tom King, commenting on stuff. And then I found out that Tom King is the guy. And people are not happy when they see Tom King posted, I've done a Wonder Woman story. And they click on it and they're like, what the fuck? And it's not Tom King at all. So so when I went to the art thing, I was like, I'm going to go to Hoskisson. Fuck it, people won't get it wrong. And then the first review I ever got for a book I did, they got my name wrong like 3 times in it. And it was the worst thing was on the website. It was one of those ones where when anyone's name gets put in, the website like makes a profile for that person and makes
it's like,
so
it's
there's
done.
like 3 Tom Hoskissons that are all spelled differently.
That sucks. Yeah. I'm sensitive to that stuff, and not. I mean, my name is really easy to get right, but I kept wanting to sneak into your. I wanted to say Hoskinson like a lot for like the first 3 weeks that I knew you, and finally I was like, no, dude, it is Hoskisson, because I was starting to write material to like tell people about issue 2, and I was like, we have a brand new artist, Tom Hoskisson, and I was like, you have to get this right because I think you're awesome. In that Wonder Woman story that you're talking about, that like 3-pager that you were soliciting online, is the thing that when Marcelo, like we weren't going to do the second issue together. Marcelo's great, super talented. We have our reasons, and those reasons will not be put in public. That being said, needed a new artist, and Winston, our editor, who has a new book out right now on Kickstarter as well. And so if you guys go to our campaign and look in the updates, you can see me pimping out Winston's book, and he's actually doing the art for our good friend David Bohr, who has been a huge cheerleader for Hear the Prophecy since before we had issue number 1. Like from the beginning, he's like, this is a great idea, make that book. And he was a big part of issue number 1, and he's a big part of issue 2. I love David Bohr, and he and our editor Winston have a book out on Kickstarter right now. I saw your stuff online, that 3-part Wonder Woman story, and it had texture, it had character. Like, you need to have good acting, and then you could do different types of shots. And that's where I was like, I sent that stuff over to Winston. I was like, dude, I think this might be our guy. Like, I think this guy might be able to do it. And you're great. Like, you started doing like little sketches of the characters right off the bat, and I was like, yeah, you get the tone. Like, you get that it's fun. It's not serious. It's not. I mean, it is serious, but it's not. You get what I'm saying? It's PG 80s fantasy. It's Willow serious. Like, there's parts of Willow like serious and scary, but there's parts of Dark Crystal that are fucking nightmarish. But at the same time, kids should be able to watch it, and that's where we are on our tone, right? Like, we're not going to be putting people in bikinis. This isn't Heavy Metal Magazine, but I think we could be in Heavy Metal Magazine, but we'd be the PG-13 between the massive boobage going on there, you know. You know what I mean? And so you were the dude. I thought you were the dude.
Yeah.
What I didn't know,
it's funny because I saw
vistas. What I didn't know was that you could do I'm sorry. What I didn't know was that you could do landscapes, because that's not in those 3 pages. And we will get soon. Geekscape is stick with this interview and conversation, because I want to get to, as much as I love Tom and his characters, the storytelling is hardcore. You're really great with the storytelling, and you put gags in these pages that I didn't write in, and they're like my favorite parts of getting pages from you. They're so great, and I want to throw them up on the screen right now, but they will spoil parts of the book. But dude, some of the in-page gags are awesome, and I love them. Like, you're putting little silent movies in each page. Love them. And then your landscape. So we'll get to that. You were gonna say before I rudely interrupted and bulldozed you. Are we working with a delay, Tom? Do you think?
Listen for a second.
We could be working with a delay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Geekscape is. He's on the other side of the planet. We could be working with a
Yeah,
delay.
I think we might be having a bit of a delay.
You were saying before I bulldozed you, sir. You were going to say something. You may have forgotten it, but it's okay.
Oh no, you're all good. I had seen you on a podcast. It must be a podcast that I regularly watch because I wasn't like a Geekscape listener before we started working together. But it was with, I know it was DJ Wooldridge. I'm butchering his name, but we're all butchering names.
He also doesn't have, he does not have that D is not in his name. It doesn't have a D in his name. It's just Woolridge. Another name. Right. You and DJ, I have to like be like, that is not how they say Hoskisson does not have an N in it, and Woolridge does not have a D in it.
It's not a D.
Well, except for the ridge.
But...
Yeah. Okay. Right. You saw me on Only Stupid Answers. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were basically giving the pitch for Hero of the Prophecy 1. And I was like, this is sick. I'm going to find this guy and follow him on Twitter or whatever. No, I think it was Blue Sky. And then you liked my art. I think that's what got my stuff in front of you, was me seeing you on a podcast and going, this guy's cool. I'm going to like him and follow his project.
Dude, DJ's going to love this story. DJ's going to love that story because...
He's bringing people together, man.
I think that's cool. The only reason you came onto my radar was because you heard me on a podcast pitching issue 1, and then you became the artist for issue 2. That is
and you didn't know me from Adam. Like, you didn't know who I was.
No, I just saw I saw you were following me, and I think that put you on my algorithm. I saw your pages because it was like part of that whole hashtag comics. If you know, it's like, and I was like, and I was really looking for an artist feverishly because I don't want to. The one thing I don't want to do is a comic book series of which I've written like 6 issues for for Paul London. Hero of the Prophecy is 6 issues. Him trying to get back to Earth is 6 issues. And in like I did issue 1 and I loved it. It took a little too long to make. And it took a little too long to make, and that became a source of frustration. And it wasn't a split. Like I'm learning to write comics in the same way and make comics in the same way. I'm learning to communicate with, so I'm not putting that blame on anybody for it taking too long. But I knew as soon as we kickstarted the first one, let's go time for issue 2. Go time for issue 2, and then go time for issue 3, as we've been discussing offline. Go time for issue 4. Go time for issue 5. It's hard to build momentum in a career if you're only telling stories once a year or so. And so I'm like, dude, I need to put these issues 2 out of a year or so we can be done in 3. And I don't want to talk about what's after it because just enjoy the first 6 issues. All right, the first 6 issues, but it would have been frustrating if the only issue that came out this year was issue 1 in March. And then that came into discussion 2 weeks ago when with the second Kickstarter. I'm looking at all these Kickstarters really struggling in the current US economy, really struggling to get out before the holidays take over, because here in the States we have Thanksgiving in 2 weeks or next week. And then we have Christmas travel. There's holiday travel. People are really holding on to their dollars. They don't, the people who spent in January may not want to spend in, this part of the year. And I told George, I said, George, maybe we should just wait until January. And he goes, no. He said, no, you're going to launch. And let me tell you why, because you have issue 3 outlined, because you have Super Action Man half drawn and inked, and like you have that comic, and then like there's another comic series that I'm not even involved in that Geekscape's putting out That's a sci-fi series. It's super cool, but I haven't even talked about it because I don't know much about it other than like I keep seeing pages and I'm like, yeah, Geekscape should get behind this and we should this. I mean, Geekscape's not just a playground for myself. Obviously, we got tons of creatives here, but yeah, no, that's why we had kind of a Kickstarter go now because issue 3 is ready to go too, and issue 4 and issue 5 and issue 6, and then there's another little story after that. Got to get them out the door, man. Got to get them out the door. You know, so spoilers.
That's it, man. It's getting that momentum and keeping it. Yeah, a stall is almost worse than the whole thing breaking down sometimes. You know.
Yeah, and if we get within $1,000, like, and we're within 2 now, like if we get within $1,000, like, sure,
Yeah.
I'll swing on it. I'll swing on that. You know, like we'll close it, but like really, Geekscape, we want you to be able to have pride in this comic that is coming out of Geekscape, and it's very tonally Geekscape. It is fantasy pro wrestling. Like, that is a Geekscape comic. Have you been involved in projects that like have broken your heart in that way? Because like, of course, we're all creatives. We've all had projects that break our hearts, right? Like, shit, that just didn't get to the finish line, or it got to the finish line, but it kind of fell this way or that way. And I don't want you to talk trash on anybody or anything, but like, what are some of the projects that you were like, in another life that would have been something else?
A few. There's been a few. I have to say. I have a couple of. Oh, I should say just one. One creator-owned thing that I wrote and that I did like the pitch pages for to like pitch to a publisher, and it got stalled in like the comic making process of after the inks were done and go on to other stuff, and it's been stalled for so long that all my enthusiasm is just sort of like waned, and not waned as in like, oh, I hate what I did. I love the pages and I love the idea and the story and stuff, but the initial spark that was really, I was like, I've got to get this to a publisher soon because I think this is going to be great. It just sort of, it's diminished a bit. The worst is sometimes you just get an email from your dream person and they just will never reply to you, or you just never hear from them again, or they just ghost you and just go,
who is your dream person? Don't put them on blast. Who's your dream person?
Well, it would have been a gig at a company that would have been really cool.
Okay.
I assume because they never replied to me after their initial.
Was it part of like like one of their talent searches or anything like that, or was it like something that you said?
No, it was literally the head editor of that section reached out to me and said they were a huge fan, and then just never replied to me.
Wait, hold up. They said they were a fan of yours, dude?
I think that's the job. Yeah.
They said they were a huge fan of yours.
But I think that's part of sort of the comic books, and part of it is, don't start dancing around the room for a job you haven't got yet. Like, got to temper your expectations and stuff like that. I find actually the stuff that is most likely to not go anywhere is if you do anything for anybody, even if you're collaborating and you do free artwork for them, even if they don't ask for it, like even if someone was polite enough to would never ask for, free artwork or whatever. Once that happens, the artwork has no value to that person and like no value to you. It's a hard thing to explain, but a bunch of times I've worked with really great people and I've started to work with them, and it's going to be a paying gig in the future or whatever, and I'm all good. And I'm like, oh, I've got to draw. I'll send them some designs. I've got a great idea for this. Send them. Those are the ones where I think those projects seem to crash and burn. I don't know what the psychology of it is, but if immediately I go, yep, great, I need however much for a sketch, but you have to pay me, then they're on the hook. And they're just as invested now, or they're $50 invested in more than they were before. So doing stuff for free doesn't just hurt the artist; it hurts projects, I think. And it probably works the same way if you're a writer.
Well, you and I got into that. I was at WonderCon, and I was in like George was like asleep or something, and you were sending me DMs that were like, "Hey, Jonathan, I need to know when I'm getting paid." And I was like, "What's up with this fucking dude?" Right? But at the same time, it because I was like trying to get my comic in like the hands of people, And I was like, and I'd never worked with you. We'd had that conversation, and like and you sent an invoice for 5 pages, and we're like, cool, let's go. And I think you'd started outlining, but you weren't going to pencil, and I don't want you to, and you weren't going to pencil and ink or anything until that thing had gotten paid, nor should you. But I was at a convention, I think George is asleep, and you're in the future too. So I was like, shit. And I was like stressing. I was like, George, listen, man, this guy doesn't think you're real. Da 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 da. I was like, you got it. And I think that it came pretty quick. Like I think just speaking for ourselves, I think this has been good. And like you said, an invoice, we pay it because we fucking love you, dude. We love you. We love your work.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome.
And you are making the book
it's just that growing pains, man. That awkward first.
Dude, totally. And I'm glad you did it.
And getting that first payment out of the way.
I'm glad you did it. Because I was like, George, this guy's gonna come from Australia and like beat my ass. He's gonna come with this guy Boomerang from the DC. I don't know if he has a boomerang or a didgeridoo or he's quickly fucking down under, but he's gonna come and he's gonna make me pay. You're gonna show up with like you're gonna show up with your stuff. I don't know. You're from a poison continent. I don't know what you got. Shoot me with a blow dart. I knew.
Oh yeah, I wonder if it's blow darts.
No, and you know what? Guillermo, I think it's Guillermo, he's Brazilian, who's doing Super Action Man. He did a poster for me for free, but I was like, "You're not doing shit for free, dude." And he's like, "I just want to show you I can do the characters." Yeah. And so now he's doing 30 pages he's doing the 30-page Sam book. So I would get I'd feel so salty if I was like, thanks, please. And I understand why people do it. I understand why people don't call back. I can understand why people get busy. They see their lane. They see what they've got to do for their own gig and to keep the lights on and to keep the product coming in and going out. I've never pitched a publisher a comic. I didn't pitch Hear the Prophecy a comic. It's anything because I'm like scared. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear like, oh, that story is stupid. And nobody's really said that. If anything, people have been really supportive. Like Colin Bunn, who I love a lot, and he's a really great horror writer, was like, dude, that's an awesome pitch. And I was like, well, second issue's coming right now. And I've actually felt really rewarded by the creative community and the people that I idolize. But the one thing that happened, David Bohr had me go and talk to a new publisher, and I went to talk to them at WonderCon, not this past year, the year before. This year I would have had the comic and just given it to them, but they were a new publisher. Is a year ago, a year before we even kickstarted the thing, but I had art. That's how long that comic took. Like I had art, and I went up to them and I wanted to learn about their publishing. They were putting out books by friends of ours, and I sincerely just said, hey guys, you guys are a new publisher. We have a 10x10 at Comic-Con. If you're not able to get that real estate because there's like a 12-year wait list, come share our booth with us. It would be an honor. Like it'd be a lot of fun because you guys are putting out books with some of my friends. We could do signings. You guys can split our booth with us. I'll do it for freaking free. Like you guys don't have to pay. I'll pay for the booth. Just come and hang out all weekend. And then I took the card, and then like that Tuesday after WonderCon, I sent an email and said, hey, it's Jonathan, the Hear the Prophecy guy, but also Geekscape. Let me know if you want to split come and be a part of the booth at San Diego. No charge. Just love to have you guys to host you guys. And I get this like weird email that's just like, we will not be interested. Will be passing on your book, Paul London, Hear the Prophecy. I was like, dude, I didn't even pitch you that book. I didn't pitch you anything. I was like, what the? I was like, you just like, it was weird. And then like
you got the form rejection.
I got like a form rejection email for a non-pitch for dude, just come and hang out with us in San Diego. And then I mean,
what the fuck?
I saw the guy like these circles are not big, dude. Like when you've got Marvel Comics and DC Comics selling like 10,000 copies, 20,000 copies right now, there's not a lot of people working comics right now. And so like I've seen the guy sit, and I was like, I can't even. Oh, we got tons of mutuals, but like that was weird. I don't know, man. Like My ex-wife used to say, like, this is so mean, but she's like, Jonathan, like, this is a socially awkward business we're in. Like, this medium, comics. We're in, you know what I mean? Like, don't expect everybody to be like, I don't know. We're talking shit now, but
Yeah.
that was weird. Yeah, I saw him at Revenge
No,
Up like
you're right. It's
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's sort of small everywhere, you know. It's like even in Australia, like you really can't. Like if I went to like a con or something and I was rude to the person running it, it's going to be a huge problem for every future con because that person knows everyone. Like in America, there's way more stuff, but in Western Australia, man, I mean, it's the most isolated city in the world. There's still like 3 conventions a year. They're all the same people.
Dude, I want to go to Perth so bad, really, because I want to go to Rottnest and I want to pet a quokka. There's an island off the coast.
Oh
of
yeah,
Perth.
yeah. You know what?
It's got the quokkas.
Yeah, yeah. It's you people like rent bicycles to ride around there. I went there when I was a kid for like a school trip, and all I remember is we went into this like a theater, like a cinema thing.
Whoa, your audio.
We didn't watch anything. Silly. We just sort of like the group met.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, your audio's doing some weird stuff. I don't know. Your audio sounds like it's hiccuping, but it's okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. I want to put up a picture.
I'll keep going, but
keep going.
We went to like this isn't even an interesting story, but we went to like a weird theater cinema thing that was there, and it had beach chairs as the chairs in like the movie theater. You know, like your classic cartoon fabric beach chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so chill. But you know what? It was filthy, dude. It was gross. It wasn't like, oh wow, how cool is this? It was like, this place is fucked. The ground is dirt inside this theater. The ground is like gravel.
That's like the theater you would have when you first start making cinema in the 1910s.
Yeah,
like let's throw things against the side of this barn. You know, it's like some small town. Like, let's start a theater. My dad tells me stories of him running like the projector, or so working at a theater in Groom, Texas. Groom is almost non-existent now. It's a small Texas farm town outside of Amarillo, Texas, and this would have been in the 60s. And my dad, maybe while he's in college or so, like in the late 60s, he like ran the projector or something in this place, and he had to like go up a ladder into a loft to run the projector in this tiny barn that was their movie theater, and they'd watch all like the beach blanket bingo movies and the car chase movies and the Route 66 movies and all the stuff that was popular in the mid 60s, and the high school movies and stuff, the James Dean stuff. And I remember him pointing it out to me on a trip to my grandma's one summer. He's like, yeah, that was the movie theater. And I was like, dude, that looks like a storage unit. Like, that's insane. Like, there's no, how did you get the distance to project anything? Geekscape is for watching this on video. Here's a quokka. Let me share. Look at this thing right here. That's a freaking quokka right there. That's it. That's like my spirit animal. And the only place that they're they're only there on Rottnest Island, which sounds like something out of Monkey Island.
And they're super friendly. Like, people take selfies with them and stuff because they're like so used to humans. I remember also when I came back there from a school trip, I found like a quokka skull. I was like, oh, cool. And the teacher was like, leave that. Don't touch that. Their little bones are everywhere, dude. Their little bones are like all over the beaches.
That's so sad. Don't tell me that part's, dude. I don't want to hear that part. It's like a graveyard. This cute, beautiful little friend.
Yeah,
it's just a graveyard of them, dude. It's messed up, man.
Yeah, and they're all walking over their corpses of their relatives, their ancestors. You know, so it's a strange place.
So tell me about this story. The one that it's just sitting on your hard drive. The one that is your passion. That was your passion. That's not your passion. We got to finish it. Not that you don't have to finish it, but like,
oh man,
but like,
no, I want to.
We got to find a way, because I never pitched a publisher for Hear the Prophecy because I wanted that independent ability to. I didn't want to get canceled. I didn't want it to be like, You know, like Dark
Yeah.
Horse right now, I hear Dark Horse is like 4 issues. Like they're like, we don't care if it's 6, we don't care if it's 7, but we just want to see how it does on 4 issues. Like you get 4 issues to tell the story because it's part of their business strategy. Like it's part of them being like, we can extend funding for 4 issues, we can market successfully 4 issues. We know the rhythm of retailers for 4 issues because like retailers under order issue 2s because they order issue 1, they under order issue 2 in case it doesn't catch, and then there's some rhythm to it. So Dark Horse has figured out 4 issues, and they know how to do a trade of 4 issues and this and that. But for me, looking at the bigger story, I was like, I'm not as talented an artist. I mean, like Daniel Warren Johnson can tell a story in 4 issues like really well. Like those, like, you know, Jeff Lemire can do it. You know, it's like, oh, he told it in 3 pages, and now it's as good as my 6 issues. But then I hear other things like after the first issue, my friend Tony Fleece said, "Hey, I really like this. I think you should like stretch it out and take more time." And I just said, "Hey, Tony, but like I'm also paying an artist by the page rate, which can get really expensive if I stretch it out."
Right.
And at the end of the day, like I want somebody to get the comic. If it's issue 1, I want them to get the comic and like have several set pieces happen. If they get issue 2, and I want several set pieces to happen. Issue 3, I want several, and that stuff is just like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby to me. It was like those Spider-Man issues of like him and Steve Ditko, Stan and Steve Ditko, they'd be like the resolution of a problem, a brand new kind of narrative, and then a cliffhanger at the end. But during that, you'd have like a B storyline going on as well, you know, or that comic would have its own story. Like you would resolve a piece of the cliffhanger for the first issue, then you'd battle the Rhino, and then the Vulture would show up at the end of the issue, and it's like time to buy. Now I have to buy the next one, and that kind of rhythm was kind of like, I don't like the stretched out comics too much. They're frustrating for me as a reader, you know.
No. Oh, dude, me too. And you know, sometimes I'll even read a short thing and think, wow, this is still quite stretched out. Like there's an incredible comic. Have you read Deviant by James Tiny and the Fourth? That is a short run, really great. But there were moments in that where I thought, cut this. If this was a movie, I would have cut that out.
Yeah.
You know? But also sometimes that's the sort of joy of it, is to sit and live in the world for a little bit. But I'm with you. Sometimes you just think, I just can't be bothered sitting around. You know, like people say, oh, you know, it really kicks off after issue 50. It's just like, nah, dude. As you were saying, like Steve Ditko's like Spider-Man, the first issue of that is not like, obviously there's Amazing Fantasy 15 or whatever, but the first issue is him immediately fighting a villain, the first issue is he goes to the Fantastic Four looking for a job, man.
Yeah.
That, and then he fights the villain, and then all this shit in one issue, including a recap of his origin from Amazing Fantasy. Like, you can do so much, and it never feels rushed. It never feels like you're going a million miles out of it. You're never confused. I mean, that's the genius. I think that's the genius probably of Steve and like John Romita Sr. when he took it over and stuff, rather than Stan. I think if Stan had his way, they would be like novels, man. I think they would be huge. I think he would just go for ages and ages.
Well, that's the Marvel method, right? Like he wrote like a plot, and then those guys put it at they paste it into issues, and then they send it back. And like, if anything, I know I'm sending you full script because I'm working from a screenplay, and I'm working from notes, and I'm working from a lot of material I've had for 10 years. And so I know I'm sending you full script because I have all that stuff written, and I'm augmenting a lot of it for comics. But at the end of the day, like I've told you, like, dude, repaste something. If you need to repaste it, if you need to shove something, if you need to cut something, if you need to do this, like, your storytelling is a breath of fresh air for me. And I got these, you know, let's just show the cover. I love this cover, dude. You and I both said the same thing whenever I was like, what should we do for the cover? You said we said the same thing. We were like, Frank Frazetta. You know, like Frank Frazetta was our big influence on this stuff. And I've always wanted to do like a Frazetta cover. I was like, dude, Frazetta's perfect for this kind of thing, because you open the inside and the inside's got like humor in it. It's a little lighter, but you got to have some severity to it and some high drama. And when you think fantasy, you think Frazetta, you know?
Yeah. The only qualm I have, and you can see me battling with it on this cover, is his stuff. I mean, it's excellent for like a pulp novel cover,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
like, and sometimes you'll see it, and when he did movie posters, but so many of his things, you're seeing the back of the hero. You're seeing the
Yeah.
back of something. You know, like he's rarely like, here's a good look at somebody's face, at fucking Clint Eastwood's face or whatever. So with
But he's
this, I'm like, I
facing
kind
the
of want, you
villain.
want to be able to see. That's it. You want to be able to see all the characters to some degree. So, I mean, we don't get to see Shitara's face, but her pose and her overall vibe, you sort of understand what she is. You know what I mean? Like she's a little
Yeah.
tropey anyway, so I think
Yeah.
that works.
You know who she is.
So it's tricky to get it so that, yeah, Paul was looking at, or at least facing us to some degree. Yeah, I've heard some strange.
And you know who these characters are. Like Finnegan is a little helper. Like he's the guy who he's got like all the heart, right?
Right.
So like he's helping,
Right.
and the Cyclops is just scary. I love it. It's such a good cover, dude. Like,
yeah. And Shitara wasted her big sword taking on the snake, so now she's only got a little dagger to take.
Yeah, I was like, oh, there's the
Cyclops.
sword. The sword stuff it's going to be pretty important coming up pretty soon. I have to just go back to my notes, and when I'm outlining, I have to make sure like, hey, that stuff's kind of important, but you don't need it until issue 3. That stuff's really important. You don't need it until issue 4. You're gonna want that thing from issue 5 yanked into issue 3 because even though it works for like where it is in a film, you're gonna want it earlier because you're gonna want to pay it off with the pacing of a comic. You're gonna want to pay it off a little different. Finnegan's about to go through some really hard shit. They're all about to go through. Issue 3 is like an Empire Strikes Back issue. I was pitching it all to Paul. Paul read the issue 2, and because Paul does a pass on all his dialogue, and he does a pass on all the captions and everything to make it Paul. No notes. Paul wrote back and was like, "Dude, this is fun."
Yes.
Paul was like, it was an honor to me because I mean I've known Paul longer than anybody really, and I know his voice, but like he had a lot of notes on his voice for issue 1, especially the ring lingo, and I gave that. I was like, dude, I need you for the wrestling lingo.
Right.
But here, there's no wrestling lingo really because he's now on the fantasy planet. But Paul wrote back and was like, this is just fun. The issue 2 is just fun, and I was like, okay, cool. So this is what happens in issue 3, and he's like,
this is where it gets dark.
It's not fun. Like it starts fun. It like. Spoilers, it jumps a couple months between issue 2 and issue 3. And then when you see them in issue 3, like they're working on it, they're doing their thing, but like the end of issue 3, Heidi won't look at some of the pages here when Ramsar is torturing the owls. Let me see if I pulled that. No, I didn't pull it because it's a spoiler, but like when you check it with the bad guy on issue 2, it's really influenced by the podling scene in Dark Crystal where the podlings are getting their life force sucked out, which is just hard to watch. I know it's a Muppet.
Yeah.
But y'all know what I'm talking about. Listeners, you know what I'm talking about.
It's horrible.
It's the freaking scene where that podling is in that little chair and he gets his life force sucked out by the Skeksis, and it's horrible. And we had that scene in a way, and then I told Tom, like, hey, put a little body horror in this. So like, and I showed Heidi that those pages as you were sending them in, and she's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to them? And I was like, because shit's about to get very real.
Yeah, that's it.
What?
Yeah.
She goes, I'm not gonna read your comic anymore. My wife said that to me. She's not gonna read my comic anymore. George Pepe says it needs more scantily dressed women for the classic fantasy cover. Yeah, but it's not gonna be Shitara. It's just like she's based on.
The other thing is
yeah,
that's like funny. Yeah. But if I saw a book with a scantily clad woman on it, I wouldn't pick it up because I would think that it's trying to be like heavy metal or whatever.
And that crap is all over Kickstarter, man. That the porn books on Kickstarter are out of control. And like I want somebody reading my book, not glazing on my book. You know what I mean? Like I want somebody actually reading my book. I don't want them just flipping to pages to bone her up. Like it's I want them reading the book. In that character, especially, you'll know when you get to, you'll know pretty quick. But like by the time she gets to issue 6, like you're like, yeah, good thing she wasn't in panties. I look at like Wendy Peeney and the ElfQuest stuff, major influence. Like nobody in ElfQuest is running around in their underwear. You know what I mean? Like no one in ElfQuest. And you guys know this because if you're a hardcore comic fan, you know I gave Shatara Skywise's helmet from ElfQuest. So like it's right there. That little helmet thing that Shatara's wearing is what Skywise is wearing in ElfQuest. And no one's dressed in underwear. Like Riverwind from Dragonlance was an influence on Shatara. She's a plainswoman. Like she's gonna cover her body because she's like a plainswoman, and she leads the plains. Like she's like I don't want to say Native American or any of that. Like, but she she's out there with the elements. She's gonna cover her body. It's been fun, man, to work with it on this stuff because you're smart and you get it. And let me show this. Speaking of Shatara, here's a page I wanted to pull just to like show the art. And Geekscape is, again, go to heartheprophecy.com and like take a look at some of the incentives and take a look at all this stuff. Because look at this, man. Like this fight with Paul. I pulled the dialogue because I don't want to spoil it, but obviously my brother is going to say the wrong thing to this woman who is the biggest, she's like the most lethal person she is the best fighter in the comic, and he just will not keep his mouth shut with his BS. And what I love on this page is, and you got to buy the book to know what he says. It's not nice. She's ready to kill him. We gave it's like, I love Beastmaster, so we had to give Paul this little squirrel thing called a Kiesler. It's like a 6-legged squirrel thing. But the one thing about this page is you went to a totally different framing. Instead of going with a hard square like framing, you put this like really cool sort of fluid angular thing going on with your frames. Like I know I overwrote it and gave you 6 panels, which is a lot for a page, but like why did you do this, Tom, where it's got like that curvature to these panels? What do you think? What was the justification on this stuff? I love it.
Yeah, I think it's because it's the first bit of action. I think the opening scene is incredibly action packed, but it's the first sort of bit of action, and it's like supposed to be quite quick. Like that first panel there, that first panel on this page is dead straight.
Mm-hmm.
Like the action hasn't started yet, and then the next one is quite straight. But as soon as he says that, and she slices like that, then the swoops take over the swoop of her sword takes over the whole page. So like she looks fluid.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of this stuff.
I remember getting this, and you'd broken up. You'd totally broken up, kind of like it wasn't rigid. It was really well done, but you'd kind of broken up this straight line format of the paneling with this curvature. And then I love how your blocking and action informed your framing. Like you said, like this is all very straight. He's like 2 seconds from dying on this one. And then he says a real smart ass thing here that like it's just awful. And she swings on him. And what I love is that the swing, you incorporated the swing into the panel. So like there's no line here. She swings from this panel into this panel, from panel 2 to panel 3. Right. She swings, and there's no line here. It connects. It connects the swing into it. It's really cool. And we start to destroy Paul's Earth outfit, which is important because he's got to go native by the end of it. So like we got to destroy Paul's uniform and get it going. But here's the kind of stuff I was talking about. Like you got the Kiesler on his head, and then in this next panel, in panel 3, when she swings at him, she cuts up his uniform, but the Kiesler jumps over the sword swing.
Oh yeah, like he goes.
That's what I'm talking about. These little short stories.
Like he goes down and the Kiesler goes up and the sword goes in the middle.
And he's like flying away in panel 4.
I loved her on the Kiesler.
The Kiesler is important. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing I had to include there, well, I didn't have to include, but I thought would be an interesting thing and sort of a bit of a get out of jail free card, which is that she's like the best fighter ever. She technically does not. I don't know how to. Without
She doesn't what?
or to get stuck.
You're getting a little choppy on my end, at
to
least.
Oh, sorry, dude. I wanted her sword to get like stuck in the ground pretty early on in that fight. I don't think that was in the script, but I wanted that in there to show that like maybe if she kept the sword and not got it stuck in the ground, like if he hadn't moved that,
otherwise he's dead.
She would have just killed him.
He's dead in 2 seconds
in that scenario.
The only thing keeping him alive is his wrestling abilities. It's his like acrobatics.
Right.
That's it. Like if this was like, I would love to do a Golden Axe version of this comic where the wizard is Finnegan, Paul's actually the thief character, where like agility is the most important thing. Like if you're playing D&D, like agility and dexterity is what Paul does. Intelligence is low on this character version of Paul. My brother's really smart, but like this version of Paul, which is more like Ash Williams from Army of Darkness, low intelligence, high dexterity, less charisma than he thinks he has. And then she's just like maxed out on swords, swinging, kill you, But again, the message of the book is like we found out this guy is a fake. It's not real. Wrestling's not real. They summoned a wrestler because they thought it was real. They saw wrestling in a portal. They thought he could be their champion. That's the whole gist of the book. They summon him. They realize wrestling's not real. He tells them very quickly, "I'm not your champion. I can't save you from the evil wizard." And then this is the book where the crux of the story comes in, where she says, "Hey, like they're not going to follow me because I'm a woman. I can't raise an army because I'm a woman. He can't raise an army because he's like a minority. Basically, it's a little owl. He's a cast off. Like they're almost extinct. But you, white male, like you, white savior, you're a fake. All you have to do is not die, and we will build up the aura of the hero of the prophecy. We will tell people you're the hero of the prophecy, even though you're a fraud. And I'll do the fighting. He'll do some wizardry. You just stay the hell alive, and we'll make people believe that you are the hero of the prophecy. In the same way that in pro wrestling, people believe, quote unquote, that they're fighting, right? They believe the kayfabe. So now they're going to kayfabe the whole hero of the prophecy thing and see how far that gets them. See if they can raise an army. See if they can march to the castle. See if they can defeat the evil wizard off the back of someone whose big strength is pantomime, faking, smartass. That kind of stuff. That's the story. So for wrestling fans, there's a lot of spirit of wrestling in it. There's a ton of wrestling. We have not gotten to the arena battle in issue 4, but dude, there's an arena battle coming in issue 4. Yeah, there's a fucking arena in issue 4, and wrestling fans are gonna love the arena fight in issue 4. It's like I was like telling myself, like, how do I get into issue 3? But I'm not gonna put it in issue 3. It's gonna be in issue 4 because issue 3 is our Empire Strikes Back. Shit goes bad, and then the comeback starts with that arena battle in issue 4. Like it's
cool.
It's fun, dude. If you're a wrestling fan and you like that stuff, it's gonna be blatantly obvious that this is a wrestling book once you get to the arena in issue 4. And you're gonna love it because I just can't wait for it to be a trade, dude. Like I can't wait for it to be a trade and everybody can sit down and see the story. In my Tom Hoskisson fan podcast, as we're doing now, we got to talk about we got to talk about page 25. Page 25 might be my favorite page of the book.
Is that the Swamp Town reveal?
Dude, the Swamp Town is this freaking page. Geekscape is, if you're listening to this on the podcast, my apologies. Maybe try and find it on YouTube or something like that and show it. But that being said, I'll describe it as much as I can. But here is the colored version of page 25. And basically what I love about it is it starts on this extreme close-up of Finnegan picking up like a rock or something off the ground, and then you've got this 3-shot of them like in the freezing rain, and Tom is asked to do snow in issue 3, and I'm like, hell yeah! Like, you love just doing the elements. I love the acting in this 3-shot, and then this is where I was like, oh, dude, this Tom Hoskisson guy's something else. Like, you do a wide over shoulder of Swamp Town, that reveal, that whole thing, and then there's a moody, nice character like tone shot to finish it. For you got great screen direction. This is beautiful work here on the 3-shot silhouette. Like, I did not tell you to put it in silhouette. You put it in silhouette. Like, that is the coolest damn thing ever, dude. Like, I love that silhouette shot.
Oh, thanks, man. And
that
props
is
to the
not
colors
me.
as well. I mean, if you look at the black and white, the rain that I put in there is nothing compared to what Victoria put. Like, that last panel, the rain in that is just gorgeous, and that is 99% the color.
Well, I pulled the color. I pulled the
Another
black and
thing-
white. I pulled the black and white shot so we can look at that too, because I really want to look at this panel 3 where you're doing Swamp Town's reveal, and I think you're psychotic. The truth is, like, you're doing work that I'm like, dude, I didn't ask for. All I asked for, I don't even know what the script says, but all I asked for was like, we're behind them and we see Swamp Town, and it's like a rundown, skeezy kind of town, like on stilts, right? Like, it's over a swamp. That's kind of what I asked for on that, and it's all good. But then when I got the artwork, and I'll show you what I got, Geekscape is here. Here's the black and white. This is where I get like super mad at Tom, and I'm being facetious, but look at this. Here's that panel of Swamp Town. And let's look at the rain. Oh my god, yeah, Vittorio did add a lot of the rain
I'm getting
on that last
PTSD
panel.
looking
I
at
love it. Dude, what the fuck were you
Oh, yeah.
thinking doing this panel? Like, it's too much. Like, this is what I would do when you'd send me a panel like this.
I think
I would just keep zooming in and being like, how much detail is this guy going to put into this effing thing? Like, is this guy Jeff Darrow all of a sudden? Like,
yeah,
what is
there's
he
like
doing?
broken. Oh, I
Dude,
wish, man. I wish.
You're drawing every freaking shingle on
This
every
was
freaking
a
roof.
page that I knew was going to be like this. Yeah, and I would do like some of the previous page to this. I'd get like halfway through that or whatever, or spend a couple of hours on that, and then I would go jump forward and do a little bit of this panel, and just keep coming back to this because I knew it was going to be quite a.
What the hell were you thinking, man? We're trying to get a comic book finished, and you're over here like
town, and
you're adding like thatch work and stuff. Like, this is insane. I love it.
There's the old there's disused church. There's like boats. There's a bit where half the town, or like a good portion of the town, has fallen into the.
Yeah, you can see roofs sticking out of the freaking water.
Yeah. There's a page after this. It might be the very next page after this. I don't think it's in any of the previews, so I won't spoil it. But it's just a shot of a lot of people in a room, and that was one that I thought that I had a lot of fun with. And that was sort of after I'd done this, I thought I wanted to do another detailed, crazy panel.
Dude, the Cyclops eye page is stupid.
It's the next page.
Yeah, I'm not going to show that one because it will spoil it. But like, the Cyclops eye page is one that I definitely zoomed in on over and over again. Like, the Cyclops is a lot of fun, and you sent me that one page of its eye. It's a big panel on the page, and you see the Cyclops' face in detail, and you're just like, it's a big beat.
With the eye panel,
it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I just kept zooming in on it.
When the colors, the colors went in on that eye panel you're talking about, that was like the only time I've ever heard. Like, I've ever had the experience of like, here, I almost heard the soundtrack. Like, when I saw the colors, I was like, oh, I can hear like the birds in the forest and stuff in that scene. Like if it was a movie, it would be.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite beats.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's definitely one of my
A lot of
favorite
fun.
beats. That whole sequence is like one of my favorite sequences. It's been there since the very first draft of the story, where Paul's problem solving kicks in and you start realizing like, oh, you might just not die immediately. And I like the epiphany, and you nailed that beat. And Geekscapists, I really want you guys to order this book, and get a little bit more familiar with what we're talking about. Like, we're having a lot of fun. And in fact, that sequence with the Cyclops made me realize I spent a lot of time. And Tom, you're younger than me, so I don't know if you remember these games. They maybe be a little bit before your time, but the PC games that Sierra and LucasArts used to put out, the puzzle games, the adventure games, like King's Quest, Space Quest, Heroes Quest, and then on the LucasArts side, Monkey Island is like my biggest thing for the LucasArts side of things. And you can definitely find a lot of those games on Steam. You can definitely find a lot of them on some of the online stores. But coming out of like the 80s into the 90s, and ultimately the internet, I think, destroyed adventure gaming because a lot of it's problem solving, and the internet just is a bunch of walkthroughs, and you can really ruin a gaming experience doing that. But the Heroes Quest games, and I'm going to put a Heroes Quest shout out in this. There's a Heroes Quest shout out in a script coming up where if you played Heroes Quest and you're like my age, if you catch it, you're going to be like, holy crap, that's a deep cut. But like, those games were so much fun and they were hilarious, and the whole crux of it was problem solving. And so this sequence with the Cyclops isn't just fight, 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 fight. It's problem solving, and it's funny problem solving, creative problem solving,
Right.
hopefully. Like, that stuff is straight out of Heroes Quest, Space Quest, King's Quest, Monkey Island, all that stuff. Those are the influences right there. Because otherwise we're drawing like a lot of fighting and a lot of battle, when really, like, no, Paul would die immediately if that was the case.
And to be honest, there's only so many ways you can draw an interesting fight. I mean, like the one we were looking at before, the Shitara Paul one, that's interesting because of the emotional content of the fight and the fact that we know he's got no chance. Like, at that point in the book, like, he's gonna lose this fight. Like, is he actually gonna die right now?
Yeah.
That's the sort of fun of that fight. If it was just them fighting for a pay, like, just like
Yeah.
put them up and just punching each other, or dodging and kicking, it's no good. And at least something that you have a lot in the agony of this stuff was the funny little beats in the fight.
Yeah.
Not so fast, whatever. Just little stuff like that. Most books, you don't get them. And also another thing, if you're
you're getting a little
books,
you're getting choppy on my end. You said that most books just have a straightforward fight. They don't have little beats within the fight. I'm inviting you to get choppy again.
Indie books, they get like I think that they think like and they fight is super exciting, and in most superhero books, the fight itself is usually quite dull, and every issue has to have a fight. And I find that sometimes in those superhero books, the fight is an excuse for the characters to just keep talking to each other anyway. It's just like, I've got heaps of dialogue that Spider-Man needs to say to the Scorpion. All right, let's have them fight, and stuff like that, rather than the fight itself being a plot point. It's just, we need to have some action in every Spider-Man comic book that we ever put out. There needs to be a page where he's fighting, and fair enough, that's the medium. But what was I going to say? Something. Oh, so I say, if you're a writer, if someone out there is listening to this and they want to be a comic book writer, don't write, at least for your first 50,000 scripts, do not have, like, for instance, on this, it would be, Paul ducks to the left. Shitara's right leg flies over his head. We see down underneath on the floor, looking up at him as he dodges to the right. And then suddenly a left-hand chop on the right-hand side. Just, it will be impossible to draw what you are picturing, and you will have a nightmare of a time trying to explain it.
I think Christopher Nolan does that he actually is like he's putting like muscle groups in it. Like, Christopher Nolan is so mathematical and so exact that he's like doing stuff like that. But I think you'd kill me you would come from Australia and you would kill me. My daughter's right off camera
Well,
here. Like it's a
well,
lot. In I remember writing for Lion Forge, and Dave Stewart is like, "You're writing War and Peace over there," because like he just like I started out real dense. It was like my first scripts, and Dave Stewart was like, "You're kind of
yeah.
overwriting this." You know, he hinted that I was overwriting the script, so I was like, "All right, let the artist do this stuff, but just tell him like what the important beats are and get it going."
And I think that your
I do
fight
write the
scenes
panels.
no, you do, and that's good. But I think your fight scenes get better when you're not worried about choreographing a fight scene and more interested in the emotional content of the fight. So if you're not worried about who's going to go first in the punching match, and you just like, I would rather somebody say they fight, he
Yeah.
barely makes it out alive. You know, they fight for 3 pages, he barely makes it out alive. I'd rather a script of that than you describe 3 pages of them fighting and him barely getting out alive.
Well,
Because
that's
also another
really
thing that most beginner writers rule, and the person first in a comic book, people write these scripts with this crazy choreographed action without ever thinking that you break in the 180 rule 50 times. Left to be saying, you know, like all the little things that go into a page, you're just asking for trouble if you do really detailed comic book scripts like that.
well, screen direction is really important. I think I'm learning a lot about how to communicate with you on the page because the arena battle is one where like it hops out of the arena. Not that the characters don't, but the narrative, some of the stuff going on in the crowd
Right.
is as important as stuff going on in the arena. So we're not just sitting in a fight scene, but
Right.
but that one's going to be it's
But
basically
these
like
things I'm saying are
it's a
not
lot
things
of
in your
characters.
scripts. I'm just saying in
Yeah,
general.
yeah. No, I think
Yeah.
it's fun, and I think just straight fights are boring. You know, it's got to be funny. It's got to be silly. It's got to be funny. It's got to be
Yes.
complicated, and it has to escalate.
Right.
Escalate,
And at
and then you're
least
out.
has to be one of those things. If
Yeah,
it's not silly, if it's not funny, it needs to be brutal or it needs
yeah.
to be awkward. You know, like
Mhm.
that fight in the first Fast and the Furious, where the two,
Yeah,
or is it number 2? No, it must be the first. That's an awkward, realistic 2 guys fighting fight.
yeah,
You know, like it's so
yeah,
strange and so like, what am I watching? A fight needs to be something. It can't just be. Isn't it cool when someone's got a big sword and someone else has a big sword?
no,
Like,
it's a huge part of your
not
story. Like
really.
it is a huge part of your story. I think we'll save the brutal for issue 3. Issue 3 is not fun. Um, but that's good. Uh, because it's our low point in the story, or it leads to it. And then we'll see how we do with brutal, on issue 3. We'll see how we do with brutalizing these characters that we really like. But for this one, issue 2, Geekscapists, I just want you guys to go to herotheprophecy.com, pledge, get yourself a reward. Oh, and the best reward, have Tom draw you into issue 3. Like, holy crap, you did some incredible. I feel so bad when people have to pay a lot for like a reward that I'll write them into multiple panels. And
Right.
there's one character. This is not an affront to you. There's one character who is in the background of issue 2, and I'm going to include her character later. No, free of charge. Free of charge. She's going to become a little bit. She's going to have a little bit of a
I think I
character
know what you
later,
mean. And yeah.
just so that we get a little bit. Just so she gets a little bit more showtime. You know what I mean? That being said, I
Yeah.
like writing my friends and people into those characters was so much fun that I'm like, I miss these characters now. Oh, maybe they'll make cameos later. Like, I'm such a bad business person. You pay for you pay to be in one comic, and you end up in like you might end up in like the
Yeah.
crowd in the arena, and you might end up in like the big battle at the end of the
Right.
book. Like, you might end up because I like these characters; they're fun. So I'm a worst businessman ever because
Yeah.
it's like a 2-for-1, 3-for-1. It really at one point like Geekscape. So all this to say, go to herotheprophecy.com. Pay to be put in issue 3. You may not just be in issue 3.
Yeah. It might end up being the secret twist villain at the end of
Yeah, it's like you hate to say it, but yeah, you might be in more of the book than you expect. I don't like when people pay like 200 $250 to be like dude in red shirt in the crowd. I'm like, F you,
Right.
dude. That sucks. And with Tom's skill, gonna make him work, dog. gonna make him work because he's a
Look good.
masochist. You saw that Swamp Town page? Psychotic, dude.
Yeah.
Can't believe. I was like,
And
were
if you notice, we don't see those Swamp Town streets again. I was like, I managed to like figure. I was like, if I'm going to draw one panel like this, we're not going to see like 50 different angles of that
we
street.
get
Like,
it. We don't have to. We got
yeah,
it. Like
it's
we
like,
got it.
yeah, think about it like a film shoot. Like, if I'm going to build a miniature, I'm building it for one shot, man. Don't start
Yeah.
zooming in on my miniature. You know, this is what you
Yeah.
get.
And
I'll do you a nice big miniature, but
I remember.
one shot.
So Geekscape, maybe you've heard the story. When I was on Supernatural, we would drive to set every day, and the New York sets from Zack Snyder's Watchmen were still up, and we would pass them all the time. And they shot tons of stuff on those because those were such ornate sets from Zack Snyder's Watchmen. They spent so much money making those Watchmen, the
And they, like,
80s era in New
reused
York.
different movies and stuff.
Yeah, I think Warner Bros. Was renting that stuff out to other shoots that needed New York in some version, but like they were looking pretty wrecked by the time we'd drive by them every day and be like, cool, there's the backside of New York, 1980s New York. And then like 2 minutes later on the right was a giant part of the Enterprise from one of the JJ Star Treks, and it was like you could put it on a gimbal and rotate it to move the actors, and that stuff was sitting in a freaking field behind a fence. And I was like, dude, you guys need a hallway from an Enterprise set? Like, it's right there and it's moving on a gimbal, and like you could do all this cool stuff. And I thought that was really cool, and it was covered some of the time.
Wow.
But I was like, what is
But
that? And they were
I
like,
think there was I don't know, it's been years since I've heard about it, but wasn't there like a screen used DeLorean was on like a backlot just in the middle of, just open to the elements for years?
they found the dog from Dumb and Dumber, the dog car from Dumb and Dumber, in like some driveway or something. Like, that's kind of stuff is insane when you see it online. And they were like, they found this. Yeah, you see that stuff all the time.
Did you ever hear the thing about there's a YouTuber named Mr. Sunday Movies. He's an Australian guy, and he's got one of the best podcasts ever. It's called Weekly Planet, and he did a video about a Spider-Man suit goes missing during like the making of Spider-Man 2. Have you ever heard of this? It was like
No.
big news at the time.
That's the movie I would take something from. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, dude, and like a full Spider-Man suit, like every bit of the thing, and they say in the thing it's worth like $2 million just the suit alone. Somebody steals it, and nobody found out for years and years and years who it was. And I think this is the same person. They found out who it was, right? The police go to their house, whatever. Had a Kilmer bat suit and shit, and they've been working security on like backlots at these places for like 10 years.
So he took with a Val Kilmer bat suit too.
Suits out.
I thought you were gonna say they didn't know who it was, and then all of a sudden these burglaries and crimes started getting solved in the local area. and they realized Batman and Spider-Man were running around bopping people on the head.
Oh, dude.
Like,
I'll tell you what.
They never found the person, and then all of a sudden they found some criminals webbed up with a note attached to it.
A note that was like had a bat symbol with a Spider-Man symbol in the middle. Sure. It's like a copyright nightmare.
Let's go.
But yeah, I was gonna say, here's a hot take for you. I think that Val Kilmer, his first bat suit, is the best on-screen Batman bat suit.
Okay, I mean, I have to recall it, but I thought that Val Kilmer documentary was
it's just like an evolution of the Tim Burton ones, you know, the Black Panther suits. But every time I see these promo images of it, I just go, wow, why do we move away from that? But the only reason I say hot take is because I think it's got the nipples. I think it's got the nipples.
So that Kilmer bat suit.
But it looks cool.
It does.
So there's one that he wears at like the end of the movie. But there's one with the yellow emblem. It's still got the yellow emblem.
Yeah, that does have nipples on it. It's black, and it looks like the black one looks like the Yeah, let me just. I'm bringing this up, and then we'll wrap up. Don't you worry. Don't you worry,
Sorry, I don't
Geekscape.
know why I brought that up. I can't remember what
No,
my
this
train of
is
thought was.
fascinating. I'll bring it up. So, this is the suit you're talking about. It is the Val Kilmer bat suit, and look at it. It does look at a glance like the Tim Burton bat suit, but there it is. You got those
Yeah.
nips right there,
Sweet
like
nips.
right there. You've got the nipples. I
But just
never
it's a
realized that
crazy
they had nipples
idea
on
that
them.
they went with for so long, which sculpted body. Yeah, yeah.
That's the one you
And people
like?
say like Batman and Robin is shit because the bat suit's got nipples on. It's like, yeah, I like that one.
You like that suit because the other Val Kilmer bat suit that he wears later in the movie is this one that I'm
The
pulling up
sonar
here.
suit.
The sonar suit, and that is this one. It does not have nipples on it, but it has like
No.
really weird ridges on everything. Like, why do your thighs need ridges on them? Why do your, you know what I mean? Like the ribs, like kind of good, yeah, maybe, but
And yeah,
like, come on, man.
the
Like
helmet's got
your
ridges as well.
in the clavicles are like a class, but like, why do your ears need ridges on it? Why does the mouthpiece kind of like need like ridges around it? Like, this looks like a bunch of ruffles.
You know,
Ruffles
the
have
worst thing
ridges.
is
Your gloves have
yeah,
ridges.
the worst thing is those ridges aren't even like they're not even air
There's
vents. Like they're not even helping the actor in there.
Yeah, they're not air vents, dude. There's
They're
ridges
just
everywhere.
fake. Oh, why we start talking about
If Batman gets punched wrong, he's gonna cut himself on something like this. Like, this is not a fun suit. I do love the Michael Keaton suit, and you're right. Like, knowing that the Michael Keaton suit is extended into that first Val Kilmer suit, that Val Kilmer suit's pretty nice. But it did have nipples on it. All right. George Pepe says nice Dragonlance reference. Dragonlance is one of my top 5 fantasy properties, period. It is. I read it religiously. I love those Dragonlance, Dungeons and Dragons properties. And yeah, there's a lot of that in here and Hear the Prophecy. But my wife just also texted and said, sorry, Ophelia was waving at you and really wanted to see you. She was trying to give you a kiss, I think, but I'm not going to show her online because I don't want AI to scrub her image and do weird. I don't want weirdos to see my 15-month-old daughter. Not that you guys are weird. You guys are my Geekscapists. You're my family. I love you. But you don't know like the second, third degrees of a kid's picture online and who it ends up with and this and that. I'm not going to do it. And I don't trust George Pepe. Just kidding. I do trust you, George. I love you, man. Hope you're well. All right, Tom. We didn't even scratch the surface of what we're reading. We love all of it. Geekscape, if you want more comic talk, an episode ago, I talked with Cooper Barnes and we talked about Skinbreaker, which is just awesome. Do you know Skinbreaker? Dude.
You told me about it and I checked it out and I was like, far
What
out.
the hell? The second issue comes in early December. Skinbreaker's awesome,
Right.
and I'm loving the Absolute books, but we will catch up on that stuff soon. Tom, I'm gonna finish Super Action Man script. There's a screenplay that got into my head that I want to write, but I can write it alongside Hear the Prophecy 3 because everything's outlined and there's tons of notes for all this stuff. So I will get you some Hear the Prophecy script soon. Till then, Geekscapists, you've got to go to this heartheprophecy.com and donate to our Kickstarters. Maybe you have during the course of this conversation. I appreciate it if you do. And just remember, Jonathan's birthday is coming up, and that would be a great gift if you buy a comic from him. And yeah, man, I want to keep it going. You saw who I put issue 1 in the hands of, right? Rob Liefeld got a copy. Mark Silvestri got a copy. Jim Lee got a copy. Like all these people got copies. You know, Brian K. Vaughan got a copy. Like holy crap! I showed him one of your pages from issue 2, and I said that's my saga page. I showed him a page from the one.
Freaks me out.
Wait, what'd you say? It freaks you out that people see your work?
It freaks me out. Yeah,
people love your work.
I'll tell you what, though,
people love your work.
It's true. This is 100% true. Jim Lee, because he was rereading Hero of the Prophecy, he is sort of obsessed with it. He keeps calling me Jim,
Get the hell
no,
out of
can't
here.
come and work for you. I'm busy. Me and Jonathan are working on stuff, Jim. I can't. He says, please, Tom, please come and draw Batman for me. I say, Jim, no, Jim, no. But he won't listen.
Jim, listen. Be patient.
I've blocked him on several social medias. He just won't leave me alone.
Jim Lee, I need you to be patient.
You've got
Love you,
books
man.
to draw, Jim. You've got
If
books.
you remember, I'm the guy who bought you a Starbucks at Comic-Con. Much love. And I gotta tell you, like, again at Revenge of the convention 2 weeks ago, like, I'm showing people your stuff, like Josh Dysart, who I love his stuff. And Josh is a great writer, wrote a bunch of Valiant stuff, has some new stuff coming out. It will be on Geekscape. And when I got to your pages, he goes, whoa, hold on, hold up. And he took my phone and he's like, whoa. He loves it. We're gonna do it right on issue 2 when it's gonna be a lot of fun. Geekscape help us get there. Heartheprophecy.com. Where can people find you, Tom? To steal you away. Where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Instagram. Yeah, I think that's it really. I must be on something else.
And they just search Tom Hoskisson.
Yeah, honestly, it sounds so. I don't like saying it because it sounds so like, I don't know, arrogant. But you can, if you just Google my name, all my stuff comes up. It's only like my name is so specific. I'm not John Smith. It will be only my stuff that comes up when you Google my ridiculous name.
Okay. All right. Geekscape, that is Tom Hoskisson. You can support his career and mine by going to heartheprophecy.com and donating to our comic or buying yourself a couple of things. Get yourself drawn into the next issue. Love you, dude. Let's keep working. All right, man. Thanks for coming on Geekscape. It was great. It was a blast. Loved it, man. All right, man. We'll talk later. We'll probably talk tomorrow. Peace, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll see you very soon. And Geekscape, we have our Big Brothers Big Sisters charity live stream coming up on December 5th. That's my birthday. So if you're not buying here the Prophecy comics, be donating to Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's coming up. We're going to have a whole lineup for the Geekscape network. There'll be a Geekscape episode as a part of it. We love you. I'm going to go put Ophelia to bed. Love you all. Don't hate, create. Peace.